Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I pulled out the new Doodlebug Berry Sweet collection, as well as this page map sketch from April of 2020. Today I'm going to be documenting a layout that I am very proud of, and that pun was totally intended. When Doodlebug released this collection, I knew I had to have it. I even have a video, and I'll link it below for you guys, of the layouts that I plan to use with this collection. I do like to justify all of my purchases with at least 5 layouts. This layout I knew had to be documented with this Doodlebug collection. I decided to pull out the blue background paper that has the strawberries and the flowers on it as my main piece. That's going to span across both sides of the layout, with 9 inches being on the right hand side and then 3 inches on the left. So I did cut that white paper at 3.5 inches so that I had a place to put the strawberry paper next to, and then I am going to add that 1/4 inch strip in the stripe to make sure that it is secure between the strawberry paper and the white paper. No reason to waste the 9 inches of white paper on the background since it's going to be covered up. For the left-hand side of the layout, I did a very similar paper piecing. I was actually a little bit short. I probably could have cut the green paper a little bit bigger, but I did end up cutting the green paper at 6 inches, and then the yellow paper is 3 inches, and the strawberry paper is 3 inches as well. When I went to put down the strawberry paper, this is where I realized that I did not have enough paper to overlap the yellow paper and the strawberry paper. So what I ended up doing was removing the ATG, since I had already put that down for the yellow paper. I'm then going to flip the paper over and just add some washi tape to piece these 2 pieces of paper together. You guys know that I do this often with my layouts. I don't like to waste background paper if it's going to be completely covered with other paper. Since I did only have the washi tape securing these 2 pieces together, I decided to go ahead and pull out this border strip, and I did have to cut it in the center so that it would span from the top and the bottom. It is pretty close. There isn't a really big gap there, and my photos are going to cover that up anyway, so I would have rather had it in the center as opposed to the top and having to trim down my layout. These photos are of me dropping off my layout at the Strawberry Festival. That's mainly going to be the left-hand side of the layout. And then the right-hand side of the layout is going to be me at the Strawberry Festival with the layout itself with the blue ribbon. And then I also am going to include my blue ribbon on the layout. When I walked into the room where all of the entries were, so there was scrapbooking stuff, but there was also other stuff like quilting and sewing and things like that, and I saw that blue ribbon next to my name, I was so excited. This is by far the favorite layout that I have ever made. I love this layout so much, and to enter it into a local contest and be rewarded with first place was just so exciting. So I knew that I had to document it, and this Doodlebug collection was super cute, and I loved the ability to bring in the strawberries since it is the Strawberry Festival, as well as I am definitely gonna play up that pun with my title of Very Proud. For the left-hand side of the layout, I did decide to put all of the photos down flat, and then on the right-hand side, I only used fun foam on the photo of my layout with my blue ribbon. The other 2 photos I did decide to put down flat to the layout. I did also decide to back all of the photos with white cardstock just because my background paper was so busy between the strawberry paper as well as the yellow and green paper on the left-hand side of the layout. You guys know that I had to pull out my T-square ruler to make sure that all of these photos lined up like I wanted them to. I did follow the sketch pretty closely in regards to the photo placement, but I did cut some of them down to 3x4 instead of a 4x6. So I was able to get a total of 7 photos on this layout along with my blue ribbon over on the far right. The last photo that I ended up adding was the photo that I took of the sign when I went to pick up my layout. So like after the Strawberry Festival was over, they had the strawberry sign as well as the word congratulations. It was for something totally different, but I was able to capture it and I'm just going to use it as mine. I did decide to add just a little bit of stitching down the right hand side of the layout. I did slow the video down here so that you could see that. I just wanted to bring in a little bit more red. Since I had the red border strip on the left hand side, I thought that having the red stitching on the right would tie those two together. Once I started to add the embellishments, I realized that the embellishment that I wanted to add over on the far left hand side was going to cover up a majority of the photo. So I did switch those out so that I could cover up that dead space in the bottom of the photo where it said photo scrapbooking. I knew that I had to use the mice in this collection. They are so stinking cute. The first thing that I ended up adding was a little plant that has strawberries and daisies on it, and then there is a little mouse sticking out from behind the flower pot. And then I also did decide to add the word life is sweet. My title is going to be Berry Proud, and there is a berry in the die cut sheet, so I'm going to use that as my title. And then I went ahead and cut out white cardstock for the word proud. I am using Nicole's Dicker technique. I will link her video below on how to do DIY thickers, but basically you're doing 2 white pieces of cardstock and then a pattern cardstock. I did pull out the 6x8 paper pad because I knew that I wanted a smaller scale. At first I pulled out this red tone-on-tone polka dot, but once I get it all down on the layout, it blends way too much into the layout, so I do end up changing my mind. But I am using an older silhouette mat that I cut down into little squares. I cut them in 4s. It gives me the ability to put the white cardstock down and just feels like there's like an extra hand helping me out by securing the cardstock down while I am adding the liquid adhesive or adding the pattern cardstock on top of the layers. I also love this tool. I will link it below for you guys. One side has some wax on it, so it helps to easily pick up items, and the other side is like a poker tool, and I use that to move the pieces around to make sure that they are in place. It's a great tool. And you can see here now that the red just blends in way too much, so I decided to pull out this pink paper instead. I felt like having the pink would really contrast against the blue background paper, but also the word berry is written in red, so I felt like the pink and the red went well together. I love the fact that this collection has small touches of pink, and I wanted to add that into each one of my clusters. So I'm going to have it in my title cluster with the word proud. Over on the left hand side there is the flower pot that is also pink, and then down at the bottom on the right I'm going to also add some pink. So just those small touches of pink in each cluster. Once I got the word proud down, I did decide to add the word berry up on foam adhesive. I do pick these up from scrapbook.com. I have them in both the 1mm and the 2mm. I do really like the fact that I'm able to have alternating sizes with scrapbook.com's foam adhesive. They also have 3mm, but that's a little large for me. I then decided to pull out this shaker pop for my title, and I love the little strawberry, and it has some little red beads in it and it shakes. It's such a cool little embellishment that I was able to add to the layout. Above my photo on the left, I did decide to add this little envelope that has more florals on it as well as that little bird, and I did put that up on fun foam. I also decided that I needed a mouse on the right hand side of the layout since I had one on the left, so I found a little mouse holding a yellow daisy and added that to my title. For that envelope / bird cluster, I did add another little daisy directly to the layout. I also decided to add a heart flat to the layout, but then I found a green tab, so I wanted that flat, so I did pull up the heart and put that up on foam adhesive as well. And then I added a little word phrase that says good times, and I did have to add just a little bit of foam adhesive to the side of it that was hanging off. Down on the right hand side, I didn't add a whole lot of embellishments down there, but I did add the best day ever in the pink, and I just think that that is absolutely how I felt when I saw that blue ribbon right next to my layout. It really did feel like the best day ever. I also decided to pull out the puffy stickers over on the right hand side. I just added a little mouse as well. So now I have a mouse in each one of my clusters. And then I also ended up adding a couple of hearts around. And of course, you know I'm going to add some strawberries to the clusters as well. I did decide to go ahead and add my journaling because I had a lot of it and I wanted to make sure that I had enough room for it and it was in the right place. I do like to do my journaling in bulk, but I had already done a bunch of journaling, so this was the only one that I had. So I just used the extra white cardstock to make some backing for my journaling strips. This journaling die does come from Hero Arts. I will link it below for you guys. And then Nicole has created a Google Sheet and a Google Doc that lines up to this template. I will link it below. You do need to go over to her Facebook group so that you can get the link to both of those. I just love the way that the journal strips look on my layout. I feel like it adds so much more interest. I like to stack my journaling 3 high. So like I said, I use the extra white cardstock to cut out some blank ones. So I'll put 2 blank ones together with my journaling on top of it. I do also like to add some washi tape to the back of my journaling strips before I take it out of the die. That way they remain in the same order. So for this layout, my journaling says, "I still smile thinking about the day I turned in this layout at the Strawberry Festival. I wasn't sure what to expect. I just knew that I loved this layout and I wanted to share it. When I saw that blue ribbon next to my name, I couldn't believe it. First place. It felt so good to have my creativity recognized. I'm still proud every time I see this ribbon and remember that sweet victory." So I cut it really close with the placement of these journaling strips. I did end up having to move up that tag that says "Life is Sweet" and rearrange some of the pieces from that embellishment cluster, but I was able to fit all of that journaling on the left-hand side of the layout. I just started at the bottom to make sure that I had enough room. My thought process was if I needed to, I could take up that "Life is Sweet" and maybe move it somewhere else or switch it out. But once I got all the pieces down, making sure that I just had a little bit of space between each one of them so that that green is poking through, the journaling did fit in there almost perfectly, which I'm always excited when it does something like that. And then I decided to pull out the strawberry pieces, just adding 2 of them to my journaling to add just a little bit more interest there. And then that is it for this video. Here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. Let me know in the comments below, have you guys ever entered a contest for any of your scrapbooking items, whether it's a layout or a mini album, and how did it go for you? If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.